dropped down 2 places. Since the start, round the outside line goes Danny, who now goes for the race lead, but he's fighting back on Prix for life in a minute, and the Red Bull just about holding his position. And here for round 5 is going to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Malou wins here in Baku. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along. Welcome back to IFR this evening for the 9th round of the season for the US Grand Prix. 17 drivers join us then tonight. And of course, what a track it is. The Circuit of the Americas. 17 drivers is a very nice showing as well. 3 away from the full grid, but very nice to be back, of course, everybody, on the Friday evening. Been a few weeks since I've been here at IFR, but really nice to be back and at it again. Very early stages of qualifying today at the moment. Still 15 minutes remaining. Then, of course, after that we have a 50% race, and then we'll go into your post-race interviews with the top 3 finishing drivers tonight. Finishing time then probably going to be around 8:30 UK time. And of course, you can convert that wherever you are in the world. But Luke West in the chat, good afternoon, mate. Hopefully having a nice day. Good to see you in here. As well as Crispy as well, Guru, and a few others that join us this evening, which is really nice to see. But yeah, 15 minutes on the clock, and it is the Circuit of the Americas. Drivers making their way around then. It's very busy out there at the moment with a lot of people on the track. Lurchy coming round, Luco coming round to begin a lap now. He's invalidated on his out lap at the moment. There's a driver coming around the final corner. It's Jutastic. Just trying to work out who's the closest to the line here. We've got TSMO then, who makes his way around. He'll be on an out lap at the moment, starting a flying lap soon. Chris LV, he's making his way around. He will be going on for his first lap of the day. I'm not too sure how it has been for him, not able to see his lap, but this is the end of it then, towards the line for Chris LV. First time of the day, 1:32.212 then for the Alpine, and sets a decent starting time here in qualifying then. Let's see who's next. There is a Racing Bull over the line now. I believe he's starting a lap though. Yeah, he is. It's his teammate as over the line for Jay Elliott then. Sets a P2, and there's an Aston Martin crossing the line now. It's Kenny who sets second place. I'm very good, Luke. Thank you very much. I'm very good indeed, and I'm glad to know you are doing well. Thanks for joining us this evening. Get sharing the stream, guys. Want to try and get as many people in here as we can. Numbers recently have gone down. We peaked. We did peak a few months ago, and it's getting quieter. It really is. It's getting much quieter out here at the moment. But hopefully it might start to ramp up when the new 26 DLC comes out. Predicted to come out start of June, by the way. So maybe we'll get it fairly soon. I'm hoping we do. But Chris LV then leads in this session so far. We have Can over the line. He sets a 4th place. Now 5 as Luco crosses the line for P2. And of course this is the second tier, ladies and gentlemen, in IFR. This is the second tier that we have. And we do have some of the Tier 1 drivers in here as well to boost the numbers up. That is TSMO, Luco, Chris, and Lurchy. So, of course, as we know, they can race, and they will be setting times, just like TSMO there with the quickest over the line. But they will retire from qualifying, and then going into the race, wherever they finish, it will not count. They will get disqualified at the end of the session. And then, of course, everyone that is actually in this tier will get bumped up. So we won't speak to any of the L1 drivers in the chat, in the post-race interview room later on, but we will speak to everybody else that gets in the top 3. So where we haven't heard anything about the DLC, yeah, it is. It is quite weird. But hopefully something comes out about it soon. I heard something about the season on this game is nearly over or something like that. And once it's over, then it makes sense to go on to the new DLC. But I'm excited to see how it works as well. You know, especially prices and stuff. Is it going to be the same price as a brand new game, or is it, you know, I don't really know how it's going to work. It's going to be a bit of a weird one, isn't it? As an add-on to the new season in this game, for it to still be F1 25 when we're driving 26 cars, it'll be pretty weird. And then to make the jump to F127 after that, it's going to be an odd feeling. But anyway, TSMO the quickest driver at the minute. Chris LV's behind him. Luco third. And that top three are all L1 drivers. So soon to see disqualifications from them, as they will disqualify themselves and everybody else will move up. We've got a HJMB, one of the commentators now in this league. Not commentating tonight, but he's here as a driver. And he enters the pit lane here in qualifying. Still 11 minutes to go then. And quite a long little way till the end of this session. So no drivers at the moment should be stressing about times. No drivers should be, rushing around, because there is still time to come. And we've still got a lot of drivers still that haven't set times across the line for somebody there. It was Noah Hill. As he sets a 33.871, P6 here in qualifying at the moment. Bear with me, I've just got to send a link to TSMO to the stream. Oh, sent it wrong, my bad. Hang on a moment. Perfect. Right then, back to it. And we have now on the dot 10 minutes remaining then. Drivers coming out of the pit lane. Kenny makes his way out onto the track. Beast has gone around. He invalidated this lap, and now we see him spinning as he's back on. Currently P8 on time at the moment, but not wanting to do that. Seems to be all right now, though, and it's looking like he'll go into the pit lane at the end of this lap around because of a low fuel in that Scuderia, and he's twitching about as well. Maybe his tyres are gone, as Beast will enter the pit lane now. Ashton then, down in P13. He hasn't set a time yet, but we can see that he's on a flying lap now. And we've not seen the first sector. This is the second sector, and apparently it's purple sector at the moment then for the Ferrari. It's not looking too bad at all. But can he continue that form through till the end of this lap, then, is the question. And this right-hander here, one of the main corners to catch people out of the Circuit of the Americas. Too much turn in angle, and, you might just find yourself spinning out, especially when you're on the older tyres. But here in qualifying, usually it's not really as often that it happens. But Ashton round the final corner from P13. He sets a 4th place here in qualifying, and that is pole position as it stands when the top 3 disqualify from the session, everybody. Ashton into 4. Currently provisional pole then for the Ferrari. A very nice effort from him. As Jay Elliott then, he's up by nearly half a second then. I think that's through the first sector. Yes, it is. Now down towards the second sector. He's still got the back straight to come then in the McLaren as he throws the car into the left-hander. Now on the power early, now down through the exit, all the way through the gears, then up to 8th gear when he can. DRS activated as well as Chris LV now, the quickest driver, of course. He, one of the drivers that will retire on 31.979, currently on provisional pole then, as it stands. But Jay Elliott making his way around. The end of the sector 2 is here, and he's up by nearly a 1/10 of a second then on this lap. So lost quite a bit of time through the lap at the moment. And now he's invalidated, unfortunately. So Jay Elliott will have to go round again. He's invalidated on his lap today. See if we can spot any more laps. I think Kenny's out there then, and he's through the end of sector 2 now. Then is Kenny up on time here. The Aston Martin up by nearly 4/10 of a second overall on this lap. It's looking strong. But if he can continue it, it might be even more than that. He needs to try and maintain this gap or extend it even further. Kenny from P9 at the minute with a 1:33.913 and about 0.04 of a second the gap between him and his teammate Noah. Kenny is on the run here for some places gained if he keeps this kind of pace up. Round the final corner then here for the US Grand Prix qualifying session. Kenny crosses the line in P5. It is front row of the grid for Kenny in qualifying at the minute. A very nice effort for the Aston Martin. Gets up to 5. Now it's Eric's over the line. P4, provisional pole then for the Mercedes. Beats Ashton here on time. That's a really nice effort then from the Mercedes. as he gains quite a few places. P4 for Eriks then here in qualifying, just waiting for the top 3 to retire. But still, of course, we do have around 8 minutes left, I believe, of this session. You will never quite know with the amount of yellow flags we get in qualifying. 6 minutes to go, never mind. But yeah, if you're in the chat then, if people are sticking in the chat, what is your qualifying prediction? Who do you think is going to be on pole today? You'll have to let us know. Erik's looking the best for it at the moment. You can see the gap between him and Ashton. It's about 0.6 of a second here. Huge, huge gap between the drivers. Impressive stuff, that is. As Go Frost through the first sector then does improve by nearly 0.2 of a second at the moment in the McLaren. He's got a driver behind him as well of a Scuderia Ferrari right behind. As he heads through the left-hander and onto the back straight now goes the McLaren all the way down and towards the end of Sector 2. Has this driver found any time in that Sector 2? Sector 1, he was up on time and now he's battling with the Ferraris. He's on the lap. Is the Ferrari on a lap as well? Beast isn't on a lap. This is unacceptable behaviour from Beast, who's fighting with the car of Go Frost. He's now invalidated. Oh man, Go Frost invalidates, and that is absolutely the fault of Beast here. Unfortunately, in P11, as he wasn't even on a lap and impeded Go Frost. At least we got that on the stream. But Luke Westad, he's going to back the Sauer of Luco. Well, of course, Luco will be one of the drivers to retire at the end of the session, so he won't be taking pole. But he could take the win in the race, which is a possibility, of course. Won't hold it because we'll have to retire as well. But, you know, it is what it is. Luco can absolutely win today. He's on pole at the minute, and the gap between him and Chris LV, a few tenths of a second as it stands. HJMB to get P6 or 7. Wow. Mate, you're too late to the joke. You're too late to the joke. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But anyway, TSM 03. Eriksen did set 4 a moment ago, and that's a decent time from him. Ashton is going to be there to try and improve and beat Eriksen for pole position. Here comes the Ferrari then. This is it. In towards turn 1. Steep incline as he heads in towards the left-hander. The Ferrari down in towards the S section. Chris LV and Luco both disqualifying from the session then to get themselves out of the way. Sent to the back of the grid to start at the back in the Grand Prix. Here's Ashton then through the first sector and down towards the line. Has he found any time? No, he hasn't. He's down, sorry, by 0.2 of a second here at the minute. So it's not looking like Ashton's going to find anything at all unless he made some mistakes on the previous lap, which he knows he can make it back in the sector 2 or 3. It's looking like it's pretty much over from him. TSMO retired, disqualified as well. And now we're going to get Eriks, of course, on that pole position in the Mercedes. Eriks 1, Ashton 2, Kenny 3, Nullwoke 4, HJMB 5, Go Frost 6, Noah 7, Latibo 8, Beast in 9, and 10 is Kant. Guru says he can have a massive problem. The TV is playing as a massive delay. I think half a second earlier to drive properly. Oh man, that sounds awful. That sounds absolutely awful. Well, Guru then sat in P13 without a time at the minute. Must have been out on the track then to understand that. But we have Lurchy down in P14 as well. Lurchy will be disqualifying later. 2 minutes and 25 seconds left. Lurchy will be on his way around for a final time of the day. As my prediction says, last plus DNF. Oh, fair enough, Matt. I didn't see your message. Well, I wish you the best of luck. It's a bit of a challenge for you, that is. As we have, with 2 minutes left, many outlaps then starting up in the remaining few minutes of qualifying then, ladies and gents. This is where it starts to get real. We've had times coming in all evening long so far, but now it starts to get a little bit more important for the drivers. This is going to be their final time, and if you mess up on the final lap of the day, there's no more chances in qualifying, so it absolutely counts here. And this is it. The final times are coming in. HJMB is going to be starting one of the final times of the day. And his final time, especially here through the S section then in that first sector. Let's see if he's found any time here. Is he up on his delta? He's invalidated in sector 1. He was down on time anyway then, as HJMB will not be improving. And even if he did improve, he's invalidated his lap around, went over the white lines. That is it for qualifying for the RB. We've got Null Woke, then his teammate, heading up towards turn 1 now. He's going to be giving it a go at the moment, as well as Ashton, both out on the track. Ashton has invalidated though, so Null Woke, the only driver at the minute, barring Lurchy, who are on flying laps. The Racing Bull then, he's now in the first sector, the same as his teammate was. Is he going to invalidate like his teammate did? No, he's not. And Null Woke up by 2.5 of a second here in the Racing Bull. He's looking very fast at the minute and getting it absolutely right, but still 2 sectors to go and a long way left in this lap. Only 30 seconds to go in qualifying though, so this is absolutely his final time of the day. Many drivers are making their way around and they will be beginning their final times. Mostly everybody, I believe everybody will be making it, or are they gonna make it actually with 10 seconds to go? Oh, round goes Ashton into the wall. Ashton with a huge crash in qualifying, sideways into the barrier. He's invalidated anyway. That's the end of qualifying for him. Front row of the grid at the moment. And did anybody make it? Everybody made it then in qualifying. This is it. Final times of the day. Let's get on board with it and see what we can see. Eric's then currently on pole position. He's up by 0.5 of a second in sector 1. He needs to continue this form now. He's got quite a bit of time between him and Ashton won't even be able to defend it. Kenny, though, might just be able to try and improve. Null Woke over the line then. 0.5 second improvement for the Racing Bull. It is second place for the RB. That is a brilliant time. And now front row of the grid as it stands. Kenny up by 0.07 of a second. Then he's fastest in the middle sector at the moment. Now into the final sector to the leading right-hander now. And then sweeping to the double left-handers in towards the main straight then here for the US Grand Prix quali session. Kenny's final time of the day from P4 today. He is finding time, and it's 1,000th of a second between him and the man in front. Kenny to P3 with nearly 0.3 of a second improvement. Lovely stuff from him. Lurchy over the line then in the pit lane now. We've got a McLaren coming round of Gogo Frost then for his final time. Gogo across the line in qualifying, sets a P5. Noah Hill now over the line in 7, sets P7 then. And Mercedes crosses the line. And everybody coming round now as a Red Bull as well. We have Red Bull of Can over the line there into P9. Guru crosses the line and sets P12 at the end of qualifying. We've got a Red Bull as well, I believe. Or Racing Bull, sorry, is over the line for Beast for second place. HJMB sets P7. Ashton across the line with an invalidation then, who hits the barrier. It's P5 for him. Jay Elliott in 11 will be coming around and will be making his way over the line in a moment. But that is it for qualifying then, ladies and gentlemen. The Mercedes of Erics with 132.752 takes pole position here for the US Grand Prix. And here is your finishing results then. Erics on pole position from Beast in second place on the front row of the grid with him. It is Null Woke 3, Kenny 4, joined by Ashton and Gogo Frost 5 and 6. HJMB in 7, joined by Noah Hill in 8. Lativo 9 and Can lines up on the final spot of the top 10 in 10th place today. JL 11 then, Guru 12, Jutastic 13. Then comes Lurchy, Luco, Chris and TSMO. Quickest drivers in the pack tonight, all disqualified. They'll be starting from the back of the grid come the Grand Prix. Well, thanks for everyone who joined us in the chat for the first half of this stream. Now we go into the 50% race then, which will be starting fairly soon. We'll be back very, very shortly. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And on the Discord server, the lights have gone green, meaning it is okay for the drivers to ready up. And that means we're getting on for the Grand Prix. Just now, here we go then. 2, 3, 4, 5 lights ahead of the drivers here for the US Grand Prix. And they get away. It is lights out and away we go. Eric's off the line then in the Mercedes. Pretty well indeed down in towards turn 1 then. Not really much competition then on the start, but behind that the two Aston Martins are going at it, and there's a lot of contact through turn 1 here as two drivers went around. Kenny gets up to 4 then, Norwood down to 5. Guru tries to pass as well. Guru up to P6 now on the start. A great start from Guru. Up many places since the start already. Eric gets away cleanly then in the Mercedes. It's the Ferrari of Beast in 2. Noah Hill 3, then comes the Aston Martin again in 4 of Kenny. Norwood 5. Luco gets up to 6 on the start. That's an incredible start from Luco. Up so many places. Up 9 now since lap 1. And the action behind is incredible. Jutastic then getting ahead of Elliott here. Elliott now tries to take it back, swinging it back through the Williams, drops behind. And ahead there goes Jay Elliott. The Williams loses a place. Guru now in P15 trying to get involved again. Ashton with a 3-second time penalty now as well. TSMO gets ahead of Chris LV. Gaining a place. Now he's trying to gain as well on Lativo in front of him. Can he make an overtake on him on the first lap of 28? Not looking like it at the moment. As we look to the drivers in front, it is Eric's then leading with 1.2 seconds of an advantage then. He holds the biggest advantage of the day at the moment. Got away as the leading driver, and now is still your leading driver on the first lap, going on to the second lap of the race now, ladies and gentlemen. It's going well for him, but he has to continue this form now, and of course strategy will be coming into play. There's so much involved in a Formula 1 Grand Prix at 50% race distance that doesn't even get thought about as well. But Eric's is going to have to try and master that as much as he can. In the pit lane then on the start is HJMB down in P11 as he now down to P12 and dropping down places. Guru in the pit lane as well in 14. Ashton 15. Lurchy in 16 as Guru retires from the session then, which is such a shame to see. But Lurchy flying past then in the pit lane. It's TSMO 9 then, Can in 10, and these guys are fighting at it. It is TSMO and Lativo side by side. Ahead goes the Williams then as the Alpine has to concede the place for a moment's time, and I'm sure he'll be back at him to take it back. As he gains to the Williams, all the way behind him now. Looks for the inside line move, can't do it. Now waiting behind again, onto the back straight this time around, where it might just become possible for an overtake. Here comes the Alpine then. We've waited for this since the first lap. Here comes TSMO on Lativo up the inside line on the Williams. The Alpine clears him. It's a sitting duck and he's through into 8th place in tonight's Grand Prix. But the Williams tries to take it back. He's not having none of it, is he? Forcing each other off the side of the track here then as the Alpine just about holds on to it. And it's P8 for TSMO, but switching back underneath is Lativo. Now TSMO gets out in front. Yeah, no worries, Guru. It's a shame to see it end like that for you. I'm really sorry about that. But hopefully your next race will be a little bit better. Well, towards turn 1 then, the only driver with a time penalty is Noah today. Eric's ahead by half a second. Beast is bringing the gap down then slightly. And he is he's catching 4/10 of a second now, becomes 3. There's no work with a 3-second time penalty now. Another driver with a penalty today. 3 people with penalties on 3 laps in. Yeah, that makes sense, Guru. Hopefully that works a bit better. The Ferrari Beast then getting ever closer to the Mercedes here to try and make a pass and an overtake when he can. But at the moment, just not able to. Are you going to stream the L1 race tomorrow or rather not? It's not that I'd rather not, mate. I'm more than happy to do the streams on the weekend. It's just sometimes, mainly on Saturdays, I'm quite busy. I don't know if I'm going to be busy tomorrow or not until you know, late on, but I'll see if I can come on and do it for you guys. I'll ask and see. But Luco gets ahead into P6 then, ahead of Gogo Frost here. And now he picks up a 3-second time penalty through that. Null Woke in front of him then with front row seats to the action of Kenny and Noah Hill. Noah up the inside line then. Not enough to get past his teammate here, but he's going to try his best. Now we're getting ever closer, sending up the inside line. The Aston Martin tries to go for third place here. Noah goes up to third for a brief moment in time, but his teammate's fighting back and he gets a little bit iffy on the rears here. But might have just been able to hold this side by side with the Aston Martin. Noah is through into third place. Kenny drops back. Elliott with a penalty. This is some great action then on lap 4 of 28, making their way through then, and the drivers at the moment, as Kenny with a 3-second time penalty in the middle of this pack here. And here's Null Woke trying his best to get through past that Aston Martin. The Aston Martin gets pushed wide. Here's Null Woke doing what he can then to gain. Just on the rear side of him at the moment, but he looks up the inside. Will this be an overtake? It will be an overtake. Through goes Null Woke into 4. Kenny now down to 6 as Luco gets involved, and the McLaren as well of Gogo Frost sends it so deep. He goes up to P4 for a moment, now down to 6 again. Null Woke up to 5, down to 5 now. He's getting swallowed up by the pack. Kenny goes up to 4 and out ahead at the moment, but the kick Sauber with massive contact on the Aston Martin. Through goes Gogo Frost then to gain 2 places, up to 4. Kenny down to 5. TSMO now is on the scene. He's round the outside line of 2 of them into P6. He's got Kenny in front of him. And soon to make an overtake on him too. TSMO is on an absolute roll today. Somebody's gone around. It's Chris LV down in P16. Chris really struggling then, the L1 driver. Side by side, it's Kenny and Gogo Frost then through the first sector again. It's Null Woke with a penalty at the same time. So many penalties now on the track, but this is all going out then through the first sector. Nearly 3 abreast then through here. Luco's involved on TSMO. Luco up the outside line, now onto the inside of the next coming corner. Luco into 6, sorry. And contact made. Luco nearly into the barrier, catches the car. Now that puts him at a disadvantage to Null Woke, who looks up the inside. Null Woke very close here to make an overtake on him. And he's right on the backside. But we look to the front, it's Ericsson Beast then side by side. Beast then fighting with the Mercedes here, who will have the outside line here. Loses it as the Mercedes flies through. And it's a really interesting set of corners here, because look at what Beast is going to do. He switches back underneath. Tries to get through past the Mercedes this time on the example. It didn't work. But Eric gets in front, holds it as your race leader. Beast 2, Noah 3, 4 is Kenny then with Gogo Frost now trying to make him move up the inside line. Surprised he has not got as much wing damage as... I don't think he's got any wing damage at all then, Gogo Frost, as he flies through there. Kenny in 5th place, TSMO 6, Luco in 7. There's so much action going on then on lap 6 of 28 as the drivers make their way round. Luco goes slightly wide here, back round the final corner we go. And now across the line with the drivers once again. Kenny on the outside line, just waiting now. TSMO, they might try and outbrake him. He can't do it today. And through does go the Aston for a moment. The Alpine gets a little bit trigger happy on the throttle, then in the rears spin out. TSMO now ahead of Kenny. Through past the Aston, but Gogo Frost then has been overtaken by Luco with a double overtake. Off the track goes Gogo Frost now as TSMO with an overtake. He's there at the right time. Through goes the Alpine ahead of Gogo. Well, we are lap 6 of 28 in HJMB with a 3-second time penalty. Penalties now racking up at the moment, and we look behind the drivers now to see what's going on mid-pack. We're on overtake here. Kenny tries to get ahead of Gogo Frost, and he's made it work, but the McLaren is not having none of this. So he's going to try and switch back underneath, sending the car through then. There's contact made on Kenny. It's like bumper cars here in L2 today. As he switches back again. This time no contact, and through goes Go-Go Frost into 6. Now TSMO and Luco, the L1 drivers, battling it out to be their best one. Wheel banging then through the final few corners now, going on to lap 7. The steep incline in towards turn 1. Which way is he going to go? The left or the right? TSMO takes the left-hand side. Now ahead of the kick Sauber for a moment. How long for, though, is switching back underneath again. This is what the track's known for. Switchback of dreams, and Luco does it again then on TSMO. Reclaims 4th place. How about that? Both of the drivers as well. 11 and 12 places up between them, and look at the way they're battling through. Side by side in that first sector. Now into sector 2 they go. It's brilliant racing action from them. As you can see, TSMO then eyeing up a move there on the backside of Luco. However, wasn't really enough in it for him to fully commit to it this time around. However, down in towards the left-hander here, the Alpine is going to gain closer. And with a few good corners and following through, we could get another overtake. We could get the Alpine near podium places. But looking up in the front then, it is Eric's 1, Beast 2, and Noah Hill in 3. That is your top 3. All 3 of those drivers do not have to retire either. They are here as L2 drivers full time. And look at this, Beast then goes for the race lead. The Scuderia Ferrari on the Mercedes into turn 1. 20 laps remaining. We are 8 in at the moment. And Beast tries his luck on the race leader. This time did not work, but I'm sure that will not be the last. It's HJMB with a 3-second time penalty. And adds to his tally, of course. Lurchi and HJMB then battling as well. He gets overtaken and Ashton gets spun around. The back end of the Ferrari narrowly misses the wall there. He narrowly misses the driver behind him as well. Ashton stays in front though. HJMB drops behind. He's P14 at the minute with a 6-second penalty. As Lativo with his first time penalty today of 3 seconds. And here's HJMB with a pit stop. And now he retires as well, so he's out of tonight's Grand Prix, unfortunately. On the first race I've seen him here, one of the commentators, of course, unfortunately out of the Grand Prix now. Eric Stowe is your leader with a 4/10 of a second advantage over Beast in 2. Behind that as well, TSMO and Luco then changing places. TSMO now finally gets his moment in the sun, and it's 4th place for him as Go-Go Frost goes off wide in the backside. Null Woke then behind that in P7. He's going to try and get an advantage now as he slingshots the car around the outside because he knows it'll allow him the inside line in towards the left-hander here. This worked out for him. Null Woke into 6. Elliott and TSMO both with 3-second time penalties. They're getting worse and worse then as time goes on. Contact made through the final corner here as we head up towards turn 1 then. TSMO and Luco ever closer, and then no overtake going on between them just yet, but this is getting closer behind here as well. Go-Go Frost not too far behind. Null Woke and Kenny as well is on the scene. I think that's an Alpine if Chris Alvear is well being lapped. This is Jay Elliott with a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. We're well off the track now in the wall in P16, unfortunately. What we can now see, it is a puncture that the McLaren has suffered. A puncture on the front left then. And he's going to have to try and just take it round the lap to get it back in the pit lane. It's such a shame that it happened where it did. But a blown tyre is not what you want at all, especially 9 laps in. Don't see that very often at all. Oh, but you got to admire it. Decimo and Luco, the L1 drivers, they are giving it absolutely everything. And ahead goes the Kick Sauber again. I don't think this action's going to stop. I really, really don't. Oh, in the pit lane then for Decimo. In the pit lane for him. The Alpine now makes a stop. We'll see what tyres he goes on, but I'm assuming it will be the hards. And that is it. A safety car is deployed, everybody. Safety car deployed. And that is because Jay Elliott has retired from the session, then crashing today. Oh, man. A full safety car is here. That's going to change it up massively. Jay Elliott, HMB, and Guru all out of the Grand Prix tonight. We have 18 remaining laps of the race. And it's Eric's, the leading driver now. We wait for the pit stops to come in. So the leading two drivers in the pit lane and new tyres get on. The Mercedes gets out ahead of the Ferrari here. Pretty even stops as well. Two new sets of hards then for the front two as Noah Hill does the exact same. Luco in the pit lane, two for new tyres now, and he goes on to the mediums. But this is looking like a common theme now. Nearly everybody coming in, might even be everybody. TSMO though, he's already been on brand new tyres. They go on to one lap hold now as he crosses the line. He pitted at a bad time. The safety car came out one lap later than when he originally decided to pit. He's going to come out the pit lane ahead of his teammate here. TSMO tries to get ahead, but couldn't get ahead there. But his teammate is a back marker anyway, by the way, so wouldn't really matter anyway. Jay Elliott is wheel disconnected, so missed the pit lane. That is such a shame. Sorry to hear that, mate. We kind of gave up. Makes sense, mate. Makes sense. No worries at all. Thanks for racing with us tonight, though. Been nice to see you. As this race very soon to hit that half race distance. We're lap 11 of 28 at the minute, and the laps ticking by nice and quickly indeed. Probably looking at just over 20 minutes left of this race. Yeah, couldn't do much. 2 laps down with the puncture. That makes sense. No worries. There's 9 of you in the chat tonight. There are 9 people here. If you're in the chat, say hello, get involved. It's good to have you all here tonight. Glad to have you here. There's Luco with a 10-second time penalty. That is huge. And now disqualified from the session. Luco's out. Luco is out. Formula Cryptic in the chat. Hello, mate. Glad you're still here. Luke West still lurking as well. Love to see it. It's always nice to know that people are still sticking around. Appreciate you guys. I really, really do. And one main way as well to support the Twitch channel is subscriptions to the channel, where you can actually, if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you can subscribe to the Jack Rusty Comms Twitch channel for absolutely free, and it helps me out massively as well. So if you have an Amazon Prime subscription and you've never used your Prime sub, it would help me massively. It really, really will. That's one way of supporting me on this channel, as well as just watching the stream. It does help a lot, more than you know. But yeah, lap 12 was 28 now then, and we are reaching the halfway stage, which will be lap 14, so 2 more times around. Probably going to go racing again on the halfway point. Well, here we go. Round the final corner, the safety car is in the pit lane, and we go racing again then here at the Circuit of the Americas. Eric's off the line well then, down in towards turn 1. Lap 13 begins, and he gets away well over Beast then. Beast not being able to contest that at the moment. Noah Hill then in third, is Neil Woken 4. TSMO running well in 5 at the minute with a 1 lap older tyre than everybody else around him. Go Frost then 6. Lativo in 7 as the drivers make their way through. There's an Alpine though of Lativo gaining then. Sorry, the Williams of Lativo gaining on the Alpine behind of Chris LV, who gets lapped. And now Chris LV picks himself up a 10-second time penalty for ignoring blue flags as well. And it's just going from bad to worse for him. Lurchi and Can then in 9 and 10, battling away. Can gets into P9 now. Lurchi loses a place. He's seeming to struggle today. One of the L1 drivers, and in my opinion, quite out of position at the moment. Null Woke then gets a 3-second time penalty. And a lot of penalties that we're seeing today with the DRS enabled now on lap 14 of 28. We are halfway into this Grand Prix. Now, another half to go as Jutastic with a 3-second time penalty. And up the inside line here then. Can't get ahead. But Chris LV then with a 3-second time penalty, and off wide there goes the Alpine of Chris LV, letting drivers through after getting lapped multiple times. It has really gone horribly wrong for him. He's got masses of penalties as well, as he gets overtaken quite a lot actually by the entire grid here, pretty much, that are through and past him. But Eric's ahead by 7/10 of a second, now 6, now 5 as the gap comes down behind that as well. TSMO into the podium places, he's into 3rd place now ahead of Noah. Great overtake for TSMO then, who makes it work well. And we, of course, have lost Jay Elliott, HJMB, Guru and Luco as well. Then all drivers that are out of this session tonight. Everybody else then, 13 more drivers still do remain, as we have somebody going round, I believe, or at least some changes in positions. Can down to 12. I think Ashton gained a place in P11 as he tries to gain on Jutastic in front of him here, but he just pulls away. Because Ashton now with a time penalty as well. Look at this, the race leader being challenged finally on lap 15. Eric's ahead of Beast now. Beast can't get through, but he is being challenged. Here comes the Ferrari, then slightly ahead, but the Mercedes forces past. Not letting anybody past his guard at the moment. Beast is going to get there some way or another, gaining as much as he can here on the Mercedes and putting the pressure on the backside of him in towards the final few corners until at some point, I think Eric's might just crack, and we'll, I'm intrigued to see when that is. Now the 16th lap begins. Eric's leading. The Ferrari might just make him crack as early as now. He looks up the inside line, putting so much pressure on him, putting masses of pressure through the first corner. It is Beast challenging for the lead here. Then Eric just about holds it. The Ferrari can't do anything about that at the moment, but he's honestly not letting go at the minute, like his life depends on it. It is TSMO behind that as well in 3. It's Lurchy with a 3-second time penalty. Oh, and round goes Can, as well as Jutastic with a 3-second time penalty now. Well, wow. Can then into the barrier, intentionally retiring today, which is never how we want to see it. Caught on stream in case that needs to be in the steward's room, but that is a shame. The safety car is out for a second time running then. And that is really such a shame to see. Adds a lot of time on the racing as well. Lap 16, of course, should be probably lap 18 to 19 when we go racing again now. But really is sad that safety car out again, everybody. Now we have to wait for it to go round. Well, looking up then at drivers that have gone into the pit lane, it is TSMO in there who gets on his new hard compound till the end. Lurchy's in there as well, and Ashton. Well, can you believe that, everybody? Another safety car is here, waiting for it to go away, but last time it didn't take too long to get out of the way. It was quite quick doing. And this time now, Beast is your leader behind it. How will he handle the heat of a safety car restart? That is what we've got to look out for then when it happens very soon. Kenny is now also in the pit lane, another driver to do so, as his hard compound tyres will come off. It will be the mediums that go on, and it will be the mediums till the end, you can only assume. We should get racing next lap, so we're looking at 9 complete laps of racing, which is fairly decent, and you know, just over 10 minutes of racing action left when we get racing again. Beast looking like he wants to overtake the safety car. He's raring to go then for this restart. And as I said, I think it's going to be this lap around. We're just going to wait till the end of Sector 2, and then you normally find out that it's time. So bear with us then. The end of Sector 2 coming up. And there it is. That's the cue then. We've got 9 laps of racing, everybody, to decide the race winner of tonight's US Grand Prix here in Austin, Texas. Beast this time as your leader, though, when the safety car gets restarted. This is going to be an interesting one, to say the least, then. How is the Ferrari going to handle the heat, then, is the question, ladies and gents. Let's watch it all unfold then for the final 10 minutes or so of racing. 9 laps then to decide the winner. Let's do it all again then. Beast goes early round the final corner. It is foot to the floor. Can Eric try and keep up with him then? It's a great jump from the Ferrari, who's already ahead into the lead and maintaining it at the moment. Eric's in second place. Noah Hill third. It's Norwoke 4. Go Frost 5. Lativo 6 then, trying to make an overtake here on the McLaren of Go Frost. Lativo gets a place up to P5, then makes a place, and now can see Norwoke in front of him, who's getting very close to Noah Hill. Go Frost ahead of TSMO now. TSMO dropping down. We've also got some positions lost at the back. As up the inside line for Go. Lativo trying to maintain this, but not looking possible at the moment. It's Chris LV with a 10-second time penalty for ignoring blue flags again. He's got masses of penalties now. 23 to his name. Ashton with 21. 12 for Norwoke then. A lot of big penalties here in L2 tonight. But the question remains then, can Eriks regain his race lead with a twitch of the steering wheel into Sector 2? TSMO and Lurchy then 7 and 8. Chris LV with another 10-second time penalty, and he'll be soon nearing disqualification down in P12, unfortunately. And must be really struggling here, but the DRS is enabled once again as we go racing properly now with the DRS down in towards the first corner. And Beast still ahead by about 0.3 of a second here. We also have Lativo with a 3-second penalty. They're adding up massively now in this race. You can see behind Jutastic with 1, 2. Jutastic running in P10 at the minute, ahead of Kenny, and just about ahead of Chris LV, who has been lapped multiple times today. And here we go then, this is it for TSMO on Lativo for the first time this evening. We're going to try and see him do it again, round the outside line. Just wasn't enough in it there for him to fully commit. And now can't even make the switch back underneath, but this man's doing it. It is Lurchy now on the switch back underneath TSMO. Now he's the one behind Lativo. They're making his way around the final few corners. It's all going off then on the final few laps as TSMO continues to put the pressure on then in the Alpine. He's now riding the outside line as we head up towards the final corner and towards the line then. Oh, contact made. TSMO loses his rears. And that is completely sealed it for him. Ashton gets ahead briefly, but now TSMO back in front. There's no work in front of Go-Go Frost here. Here comes Go-Go Frost then on Nullwoke, sorry. Nullwoke gets overtaken then, and it's looking like it's going to stay as Nullwoke gets hit by the Williams, then hits the kick. Sauber Ashton with a 3-second penalty. A huge crash at the back now as Lativo trying to bring himself back on. Null up into 5. TSMO now gains up to P5 ahead of the Racing Bull, who gets overtaken. So many penalties coming in now as Lativo with another one. Lurchy now gets up a place past the Williams. And Lativo will drop down to 8th place now, losing a position on lap 21. Nullwoke with a 3-second penalty. The amount of penalties that are racking up here is unreal. Lativo with a 3-second time penalty then for multiple warnings. And that, of course, will be 3 warnings that he picks up. Now Lurchy ahead of Nullwoke as well on lap 22 or 28. Lurchy trying to pry himself through, which he's absolutely doing at the moment now. The Racing Bull not actually able to contest that. TSMO in 4 ahead of Go-Go Frost, who's getting ever closer to him. And now Ashton disqualified from the session for receiving multiple penalties there. And Ashton somehow gets disqualified with 27 seconds, with Chris continuing on with 36. Does not make sense at all, that. But Ashton disqualified from the session on penalties today. Beast across the line as your leader, still from Eric's. And look at that, the front wing touching the gearbox of Beast's car. As we head through the first few corners in the first sector here. The Mercedes getting ever closer. No room for error here. Luke West, should we go battle for the win though? Still, yes, absolutely. Glad to see you still sticking around. CSMO gets into 3, now held down to 4. Lurchy up to 5, then it's Go-Go Frost loses a place. As well as that, Kenny does gain a place up to 8th now as Lativo drops down to 9 on lap 23 of 28. Soon to become lap 24. We have 5 laps remaining, including this. As No Woke now is disqualified from the session with 27 seconds of penalties. He's out now. No Woke with another one, and yeah, that's it. He is out of the session, then disqualified this evening. I don't know how Chris LV hasn't been. I really don't know, but somehow he's getting lucky and continuing on. As Eric's with a 3-second penalty now as well. The top 2 didn't have one until Eric's now picked one up. Beast is the only driver today without a time penalty. Bearing in mind, he's been fighting nearly all race long, really hard with the driver behind him. It's really, really good work and a great effort from Beast to not pick up a single penalty. Real quick, we'll have a look at if he's got any warnings. He has got one. Don't know if he's got any more. Can't see any more. I don't know, but Beast definitely were they warning here. At least in the Ferrari. He's got Ericsson trying to gain on him. And now around the final few corners we go then to start lap 25 or 28. Banging the back side of the car. Erics is now on the rear wheels. But up towards turn 1, it's still not enough here. CSMO overtaken by Lurchy here then. Lurchy onto the podium places. And of course he is one of the drivers that will be retiring when they cross the line, of course. The L1 drivers will not be actually taking any proper places here. That's CSMO, Luco, Chris and Lurchy. We've lost Luco out of those drivers. Chris LV still here. Lurchy here as well, and of course TSMO still running strongly as well in 4. Well, Can, Elliott, HGMB, Guru, Nulwoke, Ashton and Luco all out of the Grand Prix tonight. Quite a high DNF rate, unfortunately, with only 10 out of the 17 left. Nearly half the grid has retired today, which is a shame, and some of them were due to disqualification, of course. Tiesimo now on the podium. Lurchy tries to take it back, which he does successfully for a moment, but he is tied with the wheels then of Tiesimo down in towards the left-hand side here. Who's going to get ahead? It's looking like Lurchy for a moment, but the Alpine can absolutely outbrake him. Decides to try it. As well as Lurchy now being on the backside of Eric's, and the battle towards the end is going to be brilliant. Tiesimo pulls it to the left-hand side wide, then Lurchy goes up to P3 on the podium places. Switching back underneath, then goes Tiesimo back on the podium now. Lurchy doesn't really know where he stands here. But lap 27 of 28 and the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix is finally here then in IFR, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, starting at 7 p.m. and been going for a little while now. Once we finish this, we will have your top 3 interviews as well. Post-race interviews of the top 3, which should be quite fun. Eric's braking slightly later there, and you can see how close he was getting then to Beast in front of him, but no contact made at the moment. Lurchy gets ahead of Tiesimo as well, and they are level pegging here on the penultimate lap. The Alpine of Tiesimo gets into third. Lurchy drops a place down to 4 now as the drivers make their way round the looping right-hander, which switches to the left-hand side, and then we start the final lap of the Grand Prix. Beast is the driver to lead them onto the final lap of the race. And here we go. Lap 28 of 28 begins now. Beast over the line then in the Ferrari. He's got Eric's behind him. He's got Tiesimo in third, Lurchy 4. P5 is Noah, but he's slightly out of it here and not looking like he'll make any overtakes at the end. But we could get Eric's making that pass on Beast. It's absolutely possible. Of course, Tiesimo and Lurchy will both be disqualified at the end, so it'll be Noah taking that final spot on the podium if it finishes like this, which is really interesting to know. So we'll see how it works out when the drivers cross the line. This is the final lap of the race then. Beast is your leader and on for a Grand Prix win with no time penalty to his name. It has been his day today and his race to win. Took him a while to make that overtake on Eric's. Both drivers then didn't have a time penalty, of course, but then Eric's went and unfortunately messed it up for himself, picked up a 3-second penalty, and that eliminated the chances of him being able to go ahead and take a Grand Prix win today. Lurchy sent it up the inside line if Tiesimo not able to do it at the moment, but then does slip through P3 for the Kick Sauber, but he will be losing it at the end. The two drivers that definitely won't lose their places is Beast and Eric's up at the front. You can see the final podium sitter in 5 at the minute of Noah, running 7/10 of a second behind. Here is your Grand Prix soon to be winning, ladies and gentlemen. It has been his evening all over. Took him a while for the overtake, but once he was through, he's managed to hold it all race long. Beast then in the Ferrari will cross the line to win the US Grand Prix for round 9. Eric's across the line for second place, and it's going to be Noah to take the final spot on the podium this evening. 1, 2 and 3, brilliant racing from the drivers. Beast 1, Eric's 2, and Noah Hill third place today. Noah in the chat. Hello, mate. Hopefully you had a nice day. Good to see you. Welcome in. Well, there you have it. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for round 9. Cheers, Luke. Glad you joined, mate. Nice to see you. Here's your finishing results then. Race winner, Beast. It is fastest lap, Chris. Driver of the day, TSMO. Most overtakes goes to him as well. And the cleanest driver is Beast. Now we go into your post-race interviews, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me while we get it all sorted and finished up. And then that'll be it for tonight's racing action. So bear with us a moment. Yeah, so just bear with us, everybody. Bear with me a moment while I get the top 3 drivers in for an interview. So yeah, wait a moment, guys. Just waiting to get people in here, and then we can get on with your interviews as soon as possible. Hopefully, shouldn't be too long from now. Here we go. Right, Beast, are we ready to start? Good. Well, if you want, I normally start with a winner, but honestly, mate, it's fine. Whatever. We got Noah as your third, didn't we? We got second place for whereabouts is he? Yeah, I've gone blank now. And then, of course, you took the win. Beast, we'll start with you if that's all right, and then work our way down. Right then. So great result from you. Took a little bit of a while to get past, but once you're ahead, it looked pretty damn good. What's your take on the event tonight?
I think overall I was the stronger driver. I think he had a few interesting defensive moves and ways of trying to keep me behind, but like his ERS management wasn't the best. Like I was at points at 90 and he was down in the single digits. So once I got past, there wasn't much worry because I knew that he wouldn't have the ERS to get back in front.
Yeah. Here, of course, Circuit of the Americas. What would you say the tyre wear was like? How difficult was it to manage it?
I think the safety car definitely helped, especially the second one. My initial plan was to pit lap 11 anyway, so then I just got an extra lap taken off the mediums, and then the hards were completely fine at the end. Obviously, probably they were a little slower, but like didn't feel significantly worse.
And coming into this, have you surprised yourself with this result, or is it something you were pretty confident that you could get?
I surprised myself simply because I never really liked this track. Wasn't really one of my strongest. Haven't hasn't been my favorite in anything. So it was good surprise.
Good stuff. Great result, mate. Thanks for your time, and have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Right, we'll go with Noah, I believe, finishing third place tonight.
Yep.
Good stuff. Well, give us your take on the race, mate. What's your thoughts on tonight?
I was very happy with it, starting P8 too. All the way, I came from P8 to P3 in one corner. So, yeah, huge
Jeez.
take from that.
Well, I'll ask you the same thing. Coming into this, is that what you were expecting? Or are you really surprised yourself and you're happy with that?
I'm very surprised. I mean, I had a little help with the strategy, but going into the race, I was very unconfident that I was going to come anywhere near podium. So, very lucky with that.
What would you say with tyre wear? Was it something that you struggled with, or did you find it a breeze today?
I'd say I found it a breeze with the help from the safety cars because first mediums wouldn't go any more than 11 laps or
Yeah.
more. So I knew that the mediums had to be an early call to the hards. And then just before I was going to pit, safety car came out, so it was great.
Well, going into the next round, do you think you can replicate a result like that again?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, some of the drivers in L2, very strong drivers, but I feel like I'm highly skilled more than them. So
Yeah. Well, P3 at the end, great result, mate. Thanks for your time and have a good evening.
thank you, mate.
Right, I don't think we're getting second place in the chat, so we might have to leave it there, but I'll just quickly have a look. He's not joining, so I think that'll be it. Well, appreciate everyone's time. Thank you very much in here. Right then, everybody, that is it from me this evening. Hope you all enjoyed. It was quite a fun one. Quite a fun one indeed. So, hopefully see you again soon. Have a good evening and a good night, everyone.